Hello, welcome to Walpole United WFC.
Good evening and welcome to Walpole United WFC Live with me, Anthony. I'm joined by not just one guest tonight, but two guests in Connor and John. How are you first, Connor?
Yeah, all good, all good. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to watching United men in about 45 minutes time, but yeah, it's good to be back on here. I don't think I've done a predictions one for a while, so this will be quite fun.
Yeah, that's great to have you back. And you, John?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Had a decent week. Obviously recovered from last weekend with yourself, Anthony. So yeah, it was a good weekend last weekend. Obviously, Man United results-wise, not so great. Obviously, we've got a couple of games to keep an eye on tonight with Chelsea, Spurs, and obviously United men's team. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting evening.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, and this weekend should be just as good, hopefully. We mentioned a couple of negative things about results, but while we are here, we must give a huge congratulations to our under-21s who did a league and cup double yesterday, beating Chelsea over the two legs, 6-2 on aggregate. So that's brilliant for the future of Manchester United women's as a whole, and hopefully we'll see a few of them in the main squad in a year or two, few years to come, progressing through the ranks. But before we start on a topic tonight, this would normally go out on a Friday afternoon on a pre-record. We basically talk about last week's results and if there was any surprise results for you, and then after that we discuss this weekend's fixtures. We have a chat what we think could happen, how certain team could play. Changes from week to week, but that is, we're going to do a little bit of a change, obviously, with it being a Thursday night towards the end of the season. This is why we've gone live, but we're going to start first with Man United. So Man United played Villa on Sunday evening at the Bank Stadium, Warsaw. A bit disappointing result, a draw, considering we are still battling for Champions League football, putting ourselves in a hard position now. Now it was one of them ones. Yeah, the result was disappointing, but on another day it could have been 2 or 3. I'll start with you, Connor. What were your thoughts Sunday evening? Would you agree on another day it could have been 2 or 3?
Yeah, well, it should have been. I never thought it was going to be a walkover. I wasn't one of these people that was going there and expecting us to win 5 or 6. I didn't think that was ever going to happen because Villa are not conceding that many goals at the moment. But when you look at the chances, and I mentioned this on the reaction show, we had an XG. Like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of XG, but in this case, I quite like to look at it in comparison to other games. Every game this season, bar the top 2, we've averaged an XG of 1.8 or higher, I believe, unless someone fully corrects me. But it's mainly around 2, I don't know, up to like kind of 4 or 5-ish. This game again, when we beat them 5-0, we had an XG of 2.8. We didn't score a single goal at the weekend, and we had an XG of 2. It's so close again, but we did the difference this time around. We didn't take any of the chances. Martha Thomas could have had that trick with the chances that she had. Jackie had a really good one right in front of goal, and she snatched it and it went across goal. You think of the Russo pass for Galton, if that's hit correctly, she's in on goal. Loads of chances. It probably didn't feel like that at the time, but I think if you watch the game back, you realise how dominant we were and how many chances we could have had. We gave the ball. We didn't make it easier for ourselves. We gave the ball away a hell of a lot. But it was frustrating. It just sums up our season. I think that it's just another frustrating night in front of goal where we just can't seem to score, which is weird because we've only scored 3 less than City this season, but it feels like they score a lot more than we do. And I don't quite know how we're so close to it. It must be that obviously that run we went on the kind of the 5-0s over on obviously in January, but and back end of December. But yeah, it was just frustrating. It just sums up our season. That.
Yeah, no, it definitely was frustrating for sure. Like you said, if you watched it back, yeah, you see how much opportunities we do miss when you're there in the stadium and you don't really take it in so much. It's like, oh, I can't, yeah, of course that chance and that. It's just the emotions and that. It's like, oh, and you're going off on one and that. But it wasn't to be, and it does leave us with a bit of a task with City, unfortunately, looking good. But I'll ask you now, John. Then, what your thoughts? Sunday evening, pretty much like Connor's, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. On another day, yeah, maybe we could have scored. I think it was just disappointing all then because we knew going into that game we was all hoping for 4 or 5 goals because we needed it for goal average, but we all knew that it wasn't going to be that easy because we've been going into that week saying where are these goals going to come from because we just haven't been scoring loads. Kind of says that we're just a couple of 3 behind City, but obviously City's played a game less and we did go on that big run, so I think that's pretty much where he's come from. But City have won something like 10 on the trot now, but they could actually hold onto Leeds, so that's where they're picking up the points in that run of 10 games. Yeah, very disappointing because that to me is almost like Champions League has kind of gone now. But I'm still up for it because we've still got 1 home game to come. Our last home game is still to come, and we've got obviously last game of the season Chelsea away, which is going to be a great place to go. Potentially spoil their party, could we win them and make Arsenal lift the title, so at least there's something to play for in that sense as a fan to try and get a good atmosphere going in the last 10 days.
Yeah, no, like you said, it's not over till it's over, is it? We've seen crazier things happen, so you can never say never. You have to remain positive until it physically is not possible anymore. So, but that being said, West Ham won't be any pushovers, and we will mention about them when we do come on to the Man United West Ham game, which will be on. We'll talk about soon. So that's a bit about Man United. Obviously, it was a 0-0 draw. We both thought it was going to be 3-0, which it wasn't quite to be. But we'll briefly talk on the other fixtures now. You had Brighton. Funny side, we've mentioned this time and time again this season. You honestly don't know what you're going to get with Brighton. And they lost to Birmingham 3-1 at their place. So for Birmingham, it was a great result. It keeps their hopes alive of avoiding relegation. Leicester have to wait a bit longer, probably. But could you see the great escape happening? Could you see Birmingham getting anything from their last 2 games? They've got City and Chelsea, so it is going to be a very hard. But do you have any? Do you think, Connor? Do you reckon it's possible, or
If I was going to say, if they had one more game against somebody that's not of the top 3, then yes, I said they could do it. But no, because of it's the Chelsea and City games. Everyone know I can't. I know they beat Arsenal earlier in the season. I just can't see it. If they had like a Reading or a West Ham, they've got a chance. And they had Everton a couple of weeks back and they drew 0-0. They win that game. They're only 2 off Leicester. Then they've really got a chance. But they've left it a little bit late for my liking. It's always a shame to see a team go down. Obviously, it's more local to us, but then again, obviously, so is Leicester. I wouldn't mind seeing Everton go down, to be honest, this season. But yeah, I can't see it. I think they'll beat Villa on the last game of the season, actually. But the thing is, they're 4 points. Yeah, they're 4 points behind, right? So they need 4 points from somewhere. Obviously, you say they're going to win against Villa, that's 3. Where's the other one going to come from? They've got to take points off City or Chelsea. Yeah. Chelsea, not a chance with the form they're on at the moment. And City, again, with the form that they're on, are anyone going to take points off them? Obviously, we're hoping that could be the case. But who knows? That win last week might be the spark for Birmingham to maybe hold on over Chelsea or City. They do have a game in hand, but it's Chelsea, City, and Villa. So that's my point. I can't. The game in hand, I believe, is City, and I think that's next week. I think it's midweek. So maybe who knows? City might be tired after this weekend. I know they've got Brighton early doors on Saturday, which we'll get to obviously in a bit. But maybe there'll be a little bit, but I can't see it. Not with City's depth and things like that. So in regards to Birmingham, they've done well to claw themselves back. I think they'll get within the points. I can't see Leicester picking up anymore. But I think they're going to be 1 point too short. And that draw at Everton a couple of weeks ago might come back to bite them a little bit.
So you think they'll get something against Villa, do you?
Yeah, I think they'll beat Villa, but I can't see them nicking a point against the other two.
Okay. Because like you said, you mentioned about Reading. Leicester have actually got Reading at King Power this week. So that's another game we'll talk about. So Leicester will fancy their chances against Reading at their ground. So if they win that and Birmingham lose, then that's back to 7 points, and then that would confirm their relegation. So it is possible it could happen this week, but it's all up in the air at the moment. I'm going to move on because I got 2 of you on tonight. I'll give you a game each to discuss. So I'll give you the Man City game, John. Man City comfortably 4-0 winners against Leicester. Obviously, they played before United, so didn't know what was going to happen in the evening. But Man City, they'll fully expect to get that 3rd place now, won't they? But could there be another twist yet, or?
I think they will obviously, almost like we would expect. I think they will appreciate now that if they go out every game for the rest of the season and do their thing, then they've got Champions League, and it looks like that they'll sneak in there ahead of us right on their last couple of games, because they've been nowhere all season. But I think they've won for like last 10 or 10 on the trot or something. So they thoroughly deserve it going on that winning streak. The game last week, I think we was all at the Stourbridge game when that was kicking off or when that was playing, and no surprises on the fact that they've won. No surprises that they scored goals. I think we probably predicted, did I go for 3-0 or something like that? I think one of us went for 3, one of us went for 5. I think it was ended up 4. So I don't think there's any surprise there. But yeah, just touching on that relegation battle with Leicester and Birmingham, potentially maybe Leicester will just be hanging on there, because it looks like Birmingham might get that boost, whereas Leicester will just be hanging on. And if it goes that extra game, if there was like a 23rd game, maybe Birmingham could have come back and clinched something, because I do agree with Connor. I do think that Birmingham has got something in it to beat Villa, but I don't know if they can get any points elsewhere. Go on, Connor. You muted yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think just quickly adding, I know we don't want to say this fully on Birmingham, but I think if that Villa game was this weekend and Birmingham went to Villa and beat them, I think then they'd go a point behind Leicester, and they've got a much better goal difference than Leicester as well. Yeah. So that would then give them added confidence going into Chelsea and City. But I think the fact that those 2 games are first, they could go to the last day with that Villa game being redundant, because unless they get a point against City or Chelsea, it's done anyway, and whether they win that last game, it's redundant. So if they were flipped round, if Villa was this weekend and Chelsea was maybe the last game, or City or whatever, they might have had a better chance because of the confidence. They'll get confidence anyway from beating Brighton, but I think going 3 unbeaten, 2 wins back to back, that could have done massive for them. But I just think it'd be too late by the time they get to Villa.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, Connor. Like me and John discussed the other day, I don't understand why Birmingham didn't kick on from that Arsenal result. It just didn't. It was like Arsenal just got caught at a bad time just after Christmas, a bit off the gas, and that day Birmingham managed to capitalise. But unfortunately, they've not been doing that enough this season, and that is why they are in the position they are now. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look good for them. But we'll move on to Reading West Ham. Now, this was an interesting result. We said it could go either way. Me and John in our prediction show, it went the way of West Ham, which none of us did have. Did this result surprise you a bit, Connor, with it 2-1 to West Ham at Reading, or just unpredictability, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last time I came on here, I said this, that kind of mid from 6th to 10th, you just don't know what's going to happen with those. And you could probably throw Birmingham and Leicester into that mix as well. Probably not Leicester because they're just getting battered every week at the moment. But yeah, as for the rest of them, you just don't know. They're all good sides. You know, they've all got players in their team that are really good players. You know, Reading, West Ham have been a weird team, right? So you look at a lot of West Ham's games; they've been relatively close. You know, I think they've only conceded 28 this season, so they're a decent side. But unfortunately, obviously, the teams above them are obviously better or have been better this season. But yeah, no surprises. But I just don't think, like I said, those teams kind of in the middle. Like, it's a guessing game at the end of the day because I think with the rest of the league, you can kind of predict. There's been a few surprises, but those teams in the middle, you just never know. You always just go for the safe scoreline, don't you? So yeah, credit to West Ham. I think correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so there's Spurs are still on 28, 27 for West Ham, 25 Brighton, 24 Reading. So you know it's going to be a battle for 5th. You know, who can get best of the rest, so to speak.
Tottenham do have that game in hand, which is tonight against Chelsea. So
yeah, and just look at, I think, don't Tottenham have Arsenal to play again as well?
Potentially, their next game is Everton.
Okay, maybe not. They've got Arsenal and Leicester, so yeah, they should hang on to that. But yeah, fair play to West Ham. Like I said, not a surprise to me. Reading are another team this season, along with Brighton, where you just don't know. You really don't know what Reading are going to show up. Same with Brighton. It's just 1 week you're looking at them going, they could push on and catch the rest, and then the next week they're just pretty average. So they're a weird side.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. And obviously, John predicted 2-1 for Reading there. I predicted a draw. So neither of us were right in that aspect. So Everton Arsenal now. This was the late kickoff on the Sunday on Sky. As you might have thought, Everton did lose 3-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal could have had more, quite clearly. It's what we fully expect, weren't it? Would you agree, John? Nothing. Yeah. We did say 4, but there's not really too much we could say. If anything, if there is anything you could give credit to Everton for, would there be anything?
I think at this stage of the season, you know, I don't think you can start giving Everton any kind of credit, really. You know, I think they've had a very tough season, probably brought on by themselves because the players that they've got there, they would probably consider themselves individually to be better than where they are. We predicted 4-0, it was 3-0, and they're just showing nothing all season. Even when they've got the win or got some points on the board, there's no sign of them actually getting a run together. And I think we clocked this, you know, before we went into Christmas. You know, I think they had a real bad start. They got some points on the board. We predicted at the very start, okay, this will kick them on now. The players have gelled, and it's just never worked for them. And you know, removing 1 or 2 managers isn't great. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, what they do in the summer regarding the management. You know, will they change it around again? But if they do, they need to stick with it because obviously it's not working for them. Keep stopping and changing the managers. Will their best players now be on the market? Will some of them be looking for other teams and maybe even jump across to Liverpool? If they don't want to travel too far away. Liverpool obviously getting promoted, so Everton's up against it because it's not. No one abroad now is going to be looking at Everton thinking, "Oh, I want to go there after last season." So I don't know. I think they're up against it this season. So no surprise with Arsenal winning 3-0.
No, nor with me. But on transfer news, it looks like Miedemeier potentially could be going to Barcelona. So, what do you make of that? Quickly, I don't want to go too far away from the show, but
no surprise for me, if I'm honest. Obviously, it's been in the pipeline. Well, Leon was spoken about last season. I think she'd want to go out on a high. I think she's looking to sign there, thinking, okay, well, we've qualified for Champions League on all occasions. She's been a leading goal scorer. Everyone knows how good she is. She's probably one of the two best centre forwards in the league, arguably the best one if you could go on the amount of goals in the last few years. And I think she can look back and be proud of what she's achieved at Arsenal. However, when you're that good and you're dominating the league in the way that she has, you want to be picking up more stuff. You want to be picking up not just a Conti Cup or an FA Cup. You want to be picking up multiple league titles. You want to dominate the domestic league, and also more than anything, be on the European stage and doing it there as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if she ends up at Barcelona. I think Arsenal was lucky to keep her last summer. To be honest.
It's a loss for the league if you want to look at it like that, because we're trying to get all of the best players in Europe across to the WSL. So I think losing's, not that it bothers me, weakening Arsenal, but you just know Arsenal will replace her with somebody equally as good anyway. You could argue they already have done that with Stina coming in. But what you've seen with Miedemeier, especially the back end of this season since Stina's come in, is how versatile she is as well. She's kind of dropped deep a lot of the time, Harry Kane-esque, I'm going to call it. Dropping into that kind of 10 role and playing the passes. Obviously, we've got caught out by that when we went there, when we drew 1-1 down at their place, So, yeah, it's a lot. She is, if you're talking about non-United players, she's by far one of my favourites to watch. Just proper striker, but also got a wicked pass on her as well. Her shooting ability, it just speaks for itself with a goal scoring record. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the best team in the world are sniffing around her as well.
Yeah, and before we do go into the Chelsea-Spurs game, obviously another striker has left, Tobin Heath. Obviously, we all know about her. She played for United last season. Did relatively well up until Christmas, but since then it's been injury after injury, hasn't it, really? And they agreed by mutual consent that she could leave 2 games early because she's picked up another hamstring injury, which is a shame for Arsenal fans. And at the time, us United fans weren't happy. But it goes to show that it's not always great, is it? Like, would have been a waste of a player for us this season. It's like Lauren James hasn't really been a big loss this season with injuries and that. But what are your thoughts on Tobin?
I can't get my head around this, to be fair, and I'm not surprised either because we saw it towards the end of last summer. She didn't finish the season with us. She left a little bit early. Surely it doesn't matter if you're injured or not. If you're being playing for Arsenal, and if you care about this club as much as you say that you did when you joined the summer, you're on for the title. Okay, and probably the underdogs because of how well Chelsea are doing, but you're only 1 point away. Why wouldn't you just want to see the season out at the club that you're at? So again, I'm sure there's something that I haven't read yet because I've been at work all day, but I can't understand why any player at the club would think, okay, 2 games to go, I'm going to go back home. Well, not even, it's the fact that she's left the club. I could understand you not actually travelling with the club or you've got to go to America to get treatment. I completely get that. But to say that you've left the club, 2 games to go, it doesn't sit quite right with me. It doesn't. I'll be annoyed if I was my teammates or the club or the fans. Why do you leave before the season's over when there's something, especially when there's something to play for?
Yeah, you mentioned the treatment thing. That was one of the reasons so she can have a rehabilitation in America.
But I'm sure that was the reason last summer as well.
Probably was. Is there anything you would like to add, Connor, before we move on to Chelsea Spurs?
No, nothing from my side. I think like John said, I say nothing, and I'm going to go on and talk anyway. No, just very briefly, I think it shows why last summer, obviously, we made not that it was maybe in our choice, but why we didn't probably go all out to bring her back. It probably was the right decision in hindsight.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's a good thing by Marty on the screen. Just throw that out there.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. But she don't know what she wants to. She could always do coaching, couldn't she, when she retires? But if you keep getting injured and your body's obviously not coping, clearly you can't use the it's United injuring them now because it's the same's happened at Arsenal. So which is a shame, but these things happen, and she'll have plenty of options with it being Tobin. So whatever she does decide to do, I hope it goes well for her. But before we'll move on to Chelsea Spurs now, quickly. That was Chelsea 3-1. Now, it just shows you how good Chelsea are when they had their goalkeeper sent off in the half-hour mark. And you could think, Spurs have got a real good chance. Well, you should think Spurs have got a real good chance. But this is what makes champions. They find a way to win even when things aren't going their way. You look at Sam Kerr, for instance, I was saying before the show, Sam Kerr is going to be the WSL top scorer. 17 goals. I can't see Miedema's on 12. Sam Kerr on 17 goals. And she was in Australia for the Asia Cup for about a month. So that shows you how impressive she's been for them this season. But on the Chelsea Spurs game, is it John O'Connor? I can't remember who did the last one. I think it was you, Connor, for this one. What do you think on the game? Like, is it impressed you? Would you agree? Like, they'll be worthy champions, won't they? But that was like a champions result, wasn't it? Not having everything their way, but still getting a result.
Yeah, and it's not like Spurs dominated them after the red card either. We said actually at the time when we saw the result that that's the difference between them and us. We would have lost that game. We probably would have gone on to lose. We saw with City earlier in the season when they came to us, got the red card early on and still managed to get a point, against us. That's what these sides do. They find a way of winning or picking up points when your backs are against the wall. And, you mentioned Kerr. I mean, their whole squad, it should be illegal. The amount of players they've got, game changers. You saw Fleming come on and score. I'm pretty sure they had Harder on the bench as well. Lauren James are not even using at the moment. These kinds of players that it's just ridiculous. And you mentioned Sam Kerr. She's literally like a cheat code. As you said, gonna get the golden boot again. And they're just a well-organised team, Chelsea, this season. Very, very hard to beat. You can't go at them because they'll beat you on the counter-attack, and you can't sit back against them either because they'll tear you apart with the creativity as well. So they've just got goals from everywhere. That is the difference. I know Sam Kerr has obviously got a lot of goals as well, but I think they've got goals across their whole team. That's the difference. You know, a lot of the players are chipping in. I'm just trying to fact check that before I come out with that statement. You know, they've got 5 players in the top 10. You know, for scorers, with Kirby, Fleming, Wright, and England, and obviously Kerr as well. So that just shows you there's goals from everywhere across their team. So did it surprise me that they won? Yes, because they were drawing at the time of the red card. And the fact that they were pretty comfortable after the red card, I think, is surprising. So, yeah, it was interesting. You know, Spurs went 1 up, but overall, it's Chelsea. They just do what champions do, like you said, and they will be worthy winners should they go on to win it. But they won't, because we're going to beat them on the last game of the season anyway.
just on Chelsea, Anthony, very quickly. I think
no worries.
I think it was very risky at the start of the season. I think I said it would either make or break them, and no matter what happens in the final couple of 3 games now, I do stand by this, that the transfer window that they had wasn't spectacular. I think that, it didn't particularly need to be, but they could have invested more in certain, because they didn't really have that much activity. But one thing that Chelsea's got in their favour over the last 2 or 3 years is stability within the camp, whereas obviously United 6 in, 6 out, Arsenal's making changes, Man City bringing loads of players in and out. I think what Chelsea's done very well, and it's proved to be their success this season, is they are a very stable team and a very stable club. So I think that's worth mentioning. That I do think that helps. Everyone knows each other, and everyone kind of knows, we've been in this position before. If we've been a player sent off, they kind of know. And I think that obviously helps with Emma being there for 10 years as well. That helps. And I will just shout out Emma Hayes on this occasion as well. She obviously knew how to adapt in that game. So the game plan was never to be 1-0, 1 player down after the half an hour mark. So to be able to adjust, being equal at that time to going a player down and still adapt the game to go in their favour, that's credit. And I suppose that, again, is the difference between them and us.
Yeah, no, I agree with every point you make. Great points there. Just one more before we do go on to this weekend's fixtures. Chelsea had about a month off due to COVID, and that. Do you think that benefited them? Do you think that gave them a chance to regroup, get their fitness back? I know, obviously, they were real COVID, so their fitness might not have been so good. But do you think at the time that it might have benefited them in the long run, or you not really think? Do you think it would have, because they did lose to Reading, didn't they? And obviously the Champions League after that was when Emma blamed it on COVID. But before that, they had lost to Reading. So, or do you just think it would have sort of been similar, Connor? Because
no, I don't think. Initially, I was actually going to say yes, because I remember City men's side when they had their little break. When we were actually top of the league, I think at that point they had a bit of a break in, and they went on like a 20-game winning run. It's like everyone was, they're so fit. How are they? And everyone's, yeah, they've had like 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
But I think with the women's game and there's not that many games. There was a lot of gaps anyway for a lot of teams. You look at the teams around them. Arsenal, City, United. We've had gaps as well. It's not like we've been playing every single week. Granted, at the top team, at the higher level, you're going to have more players on international duty, so you're going to have more players spread out across the, across the world on the various national stages. But I don't think it would. It probably helped a little bit, but I don't think it would have made a whole host of difference. I think Chelsea would have gone on this run anyway. And like John said, when you've got someone like Emma Hayes who's been there a while, that's it's not necessarily because of who she is. The fact she's been there for so long, she's got the trust of the players and the staff and everyone around her at Chelsea. That consistency and longevity helps a club. It's something that we need to try and get at United.
I think breaks can just work for you, or they can work against you. I mean, we've had like 3-week breaks in the past, and we've come back really poor. I think sometimes it's good to be refreshed, but it's also sometimes good to continue that game time and to continue that momentum. So I think it's just all down to that individual team. If they had a lot of things going on at the time, then maybe a break would be a good thing, but I don't know.
No, so you probably agree with Connor, would you, John?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, no. You put it perfectly, both of you. Because you look at United, and to be fair, the 3 week doesn't help us. So it is what it is. Obviously, like you said, with the stability of Chelsea, Emma Hayes has been there for 10 years. So it takes time, and this is what some of the United fan base have to realise. Yes, we want to win every week, and it's frustrating when we don't win every week. But we'll get there. It just will take a bit of time. So with predictions this week, it was 6-6. Would have been probably 8-8 if Chelsea beat Spurs later on this evening. So it doesn't change anything to the scoring difference really. After 20 rounds, I've got 198 to your 173.
Just in case anyone's watching this who's never seen the prediction show before, just kind of explain what you've been doing all season, Anthony, before we move on to next week's games.
It's basically like a Super Six where me and John or whoever I have on as a guest will predict the score, and if we get the score line right, we get 5 points for it. Or if we pick the right team or a draw, you get 2 points, and you add them up at the end of each week. Like I said, like a Super Six, and then it just a bit of fun this season. But next season we're gonna think about tinkering it, maybe have a little bit of fun with whoever wants to join in, like a fiver, and whoever wins gets like a certain amount at the end. But so just a bit of fun, like Super Six, really. And the majority of time I seem to win, which is quite good. John, can you catch out? Well, he can, because there is still technically over 60 points up for grabs. So, but with a 25 point gap, it's looking about as hopeful as Leicester get relegated. So, but we've eaten our words many times before, so do not hold me to that. So, but we will move into this weekend's fixtures now, and we will start with Man United v West Ham. Obviously, we discussed the disappointment of Sunday. What kind of response are you expecting, Connor?
I don't think there'll be any response. I think we'll play exactly the same way we did. It'll be the question of whether we take our chances or not. I think it'll be the same kind of game. But if we score early, it'll be a nice, comfortable afternoon. I believe that. I've said this all season, that when we score early, we're fine in a game. It's when it goes on and on, we don't take our chances, and we score kind of like 50, 60 minutes, and then we never hang on, So I know we scored early at Arsenal away, but obviously that's Arsenal. It's slightly different. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what to expect from this United side at the moment, because we're not losing games, but we're not winning either. And these draws feel like losses, certainly in the manner that we're drawing them. Obviously the last time out, West Ham, it was tough. It was tough. Conditions didn't help, but same for both sides. West Ham at home have got a good record anyway. So, I mean, do you want my scoreline now? Is it, or do you?
Are you both giving me scorelines, or are you having to come to an agreement?
I'll give what I think the scoreline is going to be, and then John, I'll see if you agree, and we'll come to a compromise.
Okay,
I don't think we're going to take our chance against. I don't think we've done that all season. So I'm going to go with a low scoring 2-0. I think, just because it's the last home game, I think they'll want to put on a performance. But yeah, I think 2-0.
What about you, John? Before
we got lucky on this one, because I'm thinking 2-0 as well. I do think there'll be, I don't know about a reaction to the previous game, but I do think that there will be a bit more intensity at this game, because 1, it's at home, 2, it's our last home game, 3, the crowd will be up for it because it's our last home game. I think they'll be up for it. I think obviously a bit deflated after last week, but the United fans will be like, they're gonna be shouting, and we've put that loss. Well, I'll put that draw behind us last week. Now, we've got to make sure that we just do our best there in the last couple of games. So, for me, I still think it'll be a good game. I do think that we'll pretty much dominate the possession again. So yeah, I think 2-0's a good one. So yeah, we'll agree on that one, Connor.
Could you see any changes to the last game?
I hope so.
Changes maybe.
I know what you meant. I think yes, we might see one or two. I think Bo Risa probably comes back in. I think Jackie drops out. If Diane is back, you'd put Diane back in and push Lad forward. I think Diane goes back into the back line. I think Lad moves forward back into midfield. Bo Risa comes in as well, and I think it's one of the forward line that drops out. Probably Martha comes out. But then again, do you take Martha out? Because although she missed the chances, she still got in the positions to score them. All of the chances fell to her. So
yeah, this is what I was doing. Sorry, kind of, but just to quickly jump in on last time comment. This is where I was kind of praising her up a little bit last week. I know that she missed, as a goal scorer, she should be scoring those chances, but you've also got to take your hat off to actually, create those chances as well. Sometimes it's a lot harder to create a chance than it is to actually put it away. So the fact that we managed to get into positions and she's managed to get into positions where she's through on goal to at least have a shot, I think you've got to take your hat off to her a little bit for that. So yeah, sorry, but just to jump in with Connor's prediction there with the starting lineup, I agree. I'd like to see Bo Risa play as well, and Lad go back to CDM role with Diane coming back.
Yeah, no, I think it would be good as well. I think Hayley Ladd's done a great job at centre back, but I think further upfield, slightly in a CDM role where she can break the play, and that is definitely her strongest point. With prediction wise, though, we've got a hat trick here.
Oh,
yeah, I've also gone for 2-0.
Everyone, I think Anthony's being tactical here because he knows.
No.
Am I joking?
I'll show you now. All my actually no, I better not, because all my predictions.
No.
You might be like, "Oh, he's put that. I'll put that." Actually, I might as well show you them, because then you can change your mind if you want to change your mind.
No.
There they are. They're all down there.
Writing anyway, to be honest. It's
okay, yeah, it's not the greatest. Unfortunately, I wasn't blessed with. Well, it's neat enough. Just.
Am I joking?
Well, you never know, do you? But no, but that 2-0 as well. I don't think there'll be goal fest. We always seem to struggle against teams in Claret, but well, that's away. We seem to be all right at home, but I do hope.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you want to jump in on that one on that lineup that you can see there? So basically, it's going to be. I would have thought that would be Tooney out wide, no Zellum, but you're playing Growling and Bo Risa as well as each other. What are your thoughts on that one, mate?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing to try, I think, but you've said it, no Zellum. We all know that unless Zellum is injured or suspended, she's pretty much the first name on the team sheet. So
she's got to be really fit to be able to play as many games as she has, because not many other players have been able to keep their fitness levels to this extent where you're playing almost week in, week out. So I just thought I'd throw that in there because, we talk about what qualities she may bring on the pitch and off the pitch, but I don't really think that we shout about her fitness levels as much as we should as well. So maybe we can do a separate show on that, at the end of the season maybe, but I think we do have to mention that.
Yeah, no, but in terms of that team, yeah, no, it would be nice to try do that. I don't think so. Tooney would be an RW, Leah Galton be an LW. Yeah, it would be good to try, but I think he's tried. He sticks to his own things, don't he? What he's comfortable with, Skinner. So I don't expect anything majorly formation-wise changing, just personnel, because you can have Tooney on the wing, Hansen on the wing, so I don't expect too much difference. But that's United West Ham. We'll move on to the first game, the Saturday game, which is Man City Brighton at the City Academy Stadium. We do say you don't know which Brighton are going to turn up, but are we in agreements that even if the best Brighton side turn up, they will still get beat?
No.
No,
this
yeah.
is
Oh, no.
it's going to sound biased because I've got my United hat on, but I think they can. Brighton are capable of an upset. I'm not saying they can win. I don't think they can go. I don't think they can win. But I think they're capable of a draw. They're capable of holding. We've seen Brighton this season. Again, they've conceded 30 goals, but they're not scoring many either. But they're a difficult. We saw it when they played us. They're very organised, very difficult to break down. I don't know what the result was in the reverse fixture, so someone's going to have to correct me on that. I'm trying to get that up now, so I'm not.
I have a feeling they lost about 6-0.
Right.
Okay. It was one of them games where it was 0-0 at half time, and then if anyone was to correct me, I think it finished about 5-6-0 in the second half.
Right. Okay. I'm just scrolling down now, trying to find that game. It's going to take me bloody ages, isn't it?
But I think City was a different side back then. I think they've won like the last 12 out of 13 games.
Yeah, exactly. They were better. They weren't as good back then.
So it was 0-0 at half time, and the thing is they scored 4 goals in 12 minutes by looking at this here. So slightly different, but it backs up my point. Brighton held on for 50 odd minutes. They're capable of shutting a team out. So if they can do that, obviously over a 90, I think Brighton are going to have to score if they want something from it. It's possible, and the thing is, Brighton have got nothing to lose. They're not getting relegated. They're not in a fight for anything, so they can play with a little bit of pressure off them. But you go back to December, January, people were talking about Brighton for the top 3. It's so now the pressure's maybe off them. You can maybe see a bit, like they saw against us. But like you said, you never know what Brighton's going to show up because you just don't. But I saying that, I don't think they're going to win. Like I said, I'm not that biased to say that Brighton are going to go there and beat them. And also, I'm pretty sure, isn't it an 11:30 kickoff as well? At City's Ground as well. So Brighton must be going up the day before because that's a hell of a travel to go for an 11:30 kickoff. Otherwise,
City knows.
I know every week, don't I?
So I think prediction-wise for me, I'm going to have to say a City win, just so John's going to have to agree. Because I know John's going to go with a City win anyway. So, but I think it'll be close. 2-1 City.
Those two went through my head like 2-1 or 3-1. So I'm happy with Connors on that one. So
Did you want to add anything else, John? Before
just quickly, John, as well. Just quickly. Also, as well, I think don't underestimate the fact that City are now in pole position. The pressure's back on them now. I know they're mathematically still behind us, but we're now the chasing team. Is that going to affect City all season? They've been the chasing team. This will be the first time it's back in their hands. Is that going to play on their minds just a little bit? Who knows?
What about you, John? Do you reckon that could?
I think this is unfortunately, as a United fan, I think this is where they've got those experienced players. Where I don't think it will affect them. Hope I'm wrong. I think if this was us or a Tottenham or someone a bit lower down. Then I would probably say, it would affect them. But I probably think that they're used to having this kind of pressure and playing in big games. Whether or not they can win, the big games is another thing. But I do think that they'll, because they play before us, don't they? So they'll probably win and then go into the top 3 before we play. So I do. I think City will not completely dominated, score loads of goals, but I think it's going to be a 2-1 or 3-1. But we'll go for 2-1.
So you're going for 2-1.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting that you've got your caution side on.
Oh no.
Totally the other way, and I've gone for Man City to be dominant, and I've gone for a 4-0 Man City.
Wow. Oh god.
As much as I don't want it to be that, I feel City's tails are right up now, especially after last week. We know the quality City possess, it being at home. Just think City are different. They're different fish when it comes to teams like Brighton and that. So I don't see Brighton scoring personally. Been wrong before. We've been wrong many a times, John, haven't we? So
Yeah.
But although either result isn't really good for us anyway, obviously with our United heads on, we want it to be 4-0 City Brighton, don't we? 4-0 Brighton, but that's just us being deluded. So no, I've gone for 4-0 just because I think, I just think even if the good Brighton turn up, it could be potentially be 2-1, 2-0, but I don't expect Brighton to score. So we'll move on now, and we'll move on to Leicester Reading. Now, this is a game where Leicester will fancy confirming their safety in the WSL. Don't you think, John?
Yeah, yes, because Reading aren't the greatest team that could come up against, but Leicester have hardly picked up any points since Christmas anyway. So I think, Leicester can look at Reading thinking, oh yeah, well this is a game where we can pick something up, but Leicester's not going to go in here, I don't think, with much confidence. If I'm perfectly honest, I don't know how you can when you've hardly just picked up anything in the last 6 games. I think they'll be looking to either score a goal, let alone get any points on the board. So I've got to put that in my prediction. I don't know if you kind of agree with that, but for me, I could only see a Reading win here.
Yeah,
okay.
Leicester have conceded 18 in the last 3, scoring 0.
Oh, there you go.
So I know they've played tough opposition. That's City. I'm pretty sure that's City, Arsenal, Chelsea anyway. But even still before that, they lost to Everton. They lost to us. They're not on a good run of form. Like you said, Reading are a weird side as well. But the fact that the fact that Leicester probably think they're safe will probably take. It can work both ways because it can take the pressure off them and it can allow them to play a game where they know they're not relegated, so they can play a bit more freer. Or it could work the other way and complacency dips in, and I don't know. I agree, though. I think Reading probably beat Leicester pretty comfortably. I think Leicester score. I think they will score, but I don't think it'll be any more than 1. So, 3-1 Reading for me.
Okay. Well, what about that you, John, prediction?
Yeah.
Do you agree with Connor?
Yeah, I don't think Reading have been great at scoring loads of goals this season. I don't think they've been banging in the goals. So, if Connor went for like a 2-1, maybe I would have probably been happy with that as well.
I'd settle for 2.
Yeah. Let's go for a 2-1, just because I don't think Reading. I do think that they'll dominate the game. Whether or not they can actually put the chances away 3 times, I'm not too sure. So, let's go for a 2-1 on that one then.
Going a bit opposite I am this week.
Oh,
I'm backing Leicester to get.
So I have genuinely got a chance of winning this then. This week, I've got a genuine chance of winning purely because of us being different.
Yeah, exactly. Last week was a bit boring, wasn't it? Because it was just a coincidence. You hadn't seen mine predictions before we gave them, but they were all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Apart from 2 games, and they neither were the right result. But no, I've gone for a 2-1 Leicester.
Which means Birmingham relegated?
Yeah. I think Leicester are going to do it. I just think this is probably. I know Reading will like to finish 6th mid-table, but in terms of anything else, they haven't really got anything else to fight for. Leicester, I think, will have that bit more fight. Yeah, they've conceded a lot in the last 3 games, but like Connor mentioned, they were against City and Chelsea and that. So, and yeah, we've had this conversation when they've played Everton before and that. But no, I just got that niggling feeling. I fancy Leicester to nick a couple of goals and Reading to get the one. But
just very briefly as well before you move on from that one as well. I've just had lots, but so Birmingham with the later kickoff on that one. So Leicester kickoff obviously at 2. So Birmingham could already be relegated by the time they play Chelsea, obviously later in the day. No, will they go down 4? No, move to 7. No, that means Birmingham will need a win to keep it back down to 4 to take it to the last 2. So that could be added pressure for Birmingham, flipping it that way. You know, if Leicester were to go and beat Reading.
Yeah, no, definitely. I couldn't agree more with you there, Connor. The time's getting on a little bit, so we'll go on to Arsenal v Villa now. Arsenal being the home side, Villa will be buoyed by that point they got against us. But is this one where Arsenal do take their chances, don't they? So do you see this being a comfortable afternoon for Arsenal, or do you feel that Villa, with a bit of luck, could get another point, or do you think this is just a case of that Villa's luck is probably going to run out here and it will just be comfortable for Arsenal?
I mean, not that like I'm a fan of like law of averages and all this kind of stuff, but to go through the game against United and Arsenal, not conceding a goal, I think would be very tough for a team that's towards the bottom of the league, who's, you know, not great. You know, I think, and you look at what Arsenal have done, and even if you have a look at the head-to-heads as well, I don't think Arsenal have ever conceded against Villa. I think, and if they have, it might have been just one game. So I can't even see Villa scoring on this one. And Villa never really look like scoring against us really either. So I don't think they'll look like they'll score against Arsenal. So for me, it's just a matter of how many will Arsenal score. I do think Arsenal will find it fairly comfortable. I know last time they played, it took them until the second half to score against them. But yeah, I'm going for a clean sheet win for Arsenal. It's just a matter of how many. Are you on the same kind of wavelength there, Connor?
Yeah, I think so. I agree with Marty's comment. You know, Ward's teams, they have got a very tight defence, we found out, obviously, on Sunday. But Arsenal, if Arsenal score early, I think the floodgates will open. You know, I think in the reverse fixture, Villa held on till half-time, didn't they? And then Arsenal scored 4 in the second half. So, I'll go conservative as well. I say conservative. I'll keep it simple and just say 4. Because
I was saying the same.
You agree? So
4-0,
we're all in agreement with that result then. Marty reckons 4-0 as well, which we've all gone for 4-0, so we pretty much had the same idea. I just think Arsenal are just going to have too much quality for Villa, unfortunately. Like you said, by law of averages, Villa keeping another clean sheet will be hard. I just can't see Villa getting a goal, so 4-0. Now, Birmingham-Chelsea now, at Birmingham. Like you said, if Leicester win, it's 7 points, but due to the game in hand, they still have a chance, a slim chance. Is this where it really does end for them? Do they get relegated Sunday? Or do you think, well, I should rephrase that because you both think Reading are going to win. Do you think they could get anything out of this game? Or if we were to do it, would you have to be a brave man and put the lottery on it if it did happen? I know Arsenal have lost to Birmingham, but could lightning strike twice, or do we just think this is bridge too far?
No chance. No chance.
Sorry about that crying in the corner. Yeah.
It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be just very, very simply for me. I think it'll probably be 5 or 6 Chelsea's way. I think.
I agree as well.
I think that's a massive shame. Imagine if Birmingham did do that, though. That's got to, just winning Arsenal and Chelsea in the same season, I think would be would be amazing. I can't see it happening at all, unfortunately. I don't even think it matters what the Leicester result is, because I do think Birmingham will go at it for that first 20 minutes. I don't mean go at it like a bull at the gate, but I think they'll, think, okay, come on, let's do this. But Chelsea just have the cutting edge that if Birmingham do come out at them, Chelsea will, play around them and get some goals. So yeah, it says 4 on the last one. I'll let kind of decide.
It all depends as well, doesn't it? Like I said on the Leicester game earlier in the day. So yeah, let's say 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry. Now, last game is Everton v Spurs. Now, Spurs don't score many, but they don't concede many. Everton have sort of had a season they didn't really want to have, haven't they? What are your thoughts on this game? Is it, and it could go either way game, or what do you think? Tottenham can potentially pick up another win to cement 5th, because they are on 28 points, but they're battling realistically between 7th and 5th, with Brighton on 25 points. What are we saying? We'll start with you, Connor.
Yeah, I can see Spurs picking up the win. Having said that, Spurs are currently 1 down at Chelsea already. So that could be a high scoreline as well. But yeah, I'd expect Spurs to get past Everton. Everton are not a good. They're not a good team. They're a very good group of players, but they're not a great team. So yeah, I'd expect Spurs to win that, but not by much. Probably 2-0.
What about you, John? Quickly, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think. I don't think Spurs will steamroll them. I think at the start of the season they would have done, but Spurs haven't really got too much to play for now. I think they'll finish like best of the rest. They'll finish 5th. So I do fancy Spurs to get something from this. 2-0, yeah, I could go with that one. I think that's right. And Everton will just look back on this season thinking, we've kind of let potentially a good season just drift away from us. And yeah, I think Tottenham, and I think that's where Tottenham, belong as well, to be fair. They should be happy with 5th place. They've got a game in hand as well. Obviously, it looks like that's not going to go their way tonight. But yeah, Tottenham should be happy if they go into that last game of the season where they are.
Yep. So you're saying 2-0 both of you, are you?
2-0, yeah, we'll agree on that one.
This is another one where I agree with. Is it Marty? Is it that?
That's Marty, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Marty. I've gone for a 2-1 Spurs win against Everton. I feel like Everton have got the quality to score one, but it's just been one of them seasons where everything's gone wrong, really. And I think Spurs will want to cement 5th. They've got the players they're tight. So for me, 2-1 Spurs, but there won't be much in it. And like we have discussed all year, it's weird when we have a chat about stuff and we think, why did we predict that? But we all have different predictions in that, and from time to time they do not go to plan. So that's all of the fixtures spoken about.
It's been good doing this live tonight as well, by the way. We never do it on a Thursday night before, so it's good to do something slightly different in the build-up to the last couple of fixtures. So thanks, Anthony, for hosting as well. Tomorrow night, Connor is back on the fans forum as usual. Saturday night live as well with Benny and Matt, and then match day content on Sunday. So plenty to look forward to on the channel for the rest of the week.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys, and thanks for all the people in the comments for your predictions and your thoughts. And hopefully we can do another one live like this real soon. But till then, thanks for now, and take care. And we'll see you soon. Good night.
Nice.